Hello, my name is Robert from Mobile Burn, and today I'll be looking at the Blackberry Z10 and doing a review of it. So first of all, let me say thank you very much to EE for sending me this. EE are UK's only 4G network at the time of making this video, so thank you very much again for them to sending me this. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the hardware of this device. And the hardware is actually very impressive compared to sort of older generation BlackBerry devices. And it features a 4.2-inch display on the diagonal here, and it has a resolution of 768 by 1280, which is the same resolution as the Nexus 4 has, but because of the smaller size of the display, it actually has a 355 ppi. The processor inside the device is a Qualcomm S4 dual-core processor running at 1.5 gigahertz, and it actually has 2 gigabytes of RAM, which is again the same as the Nexus 4. The GPU is an Adreno 225. On the rear, it has a 8 megapixel camera with 1080p, which shoots 30 frames a second video. The front-facing camera is a 2 megapixel camera with 720p video as well as 30 frames a second, like the rear one. Oops. It has the usual sort of types of connections like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, NFC as well, which is a nice feature that this is included, and also has a 4G radio, because obviously this is available